Good evening, Practical HEMA folks. How are we all? Okay. We've done videos recently about Fiore's first master dagger, and we've had backwards and forwards different ideas and really enjoyed it. But we've been thinking how we train and how we think about things. I'm going to take it back to that. I'm going to show you how we work through this stuff, and what we're going to do a whole series of videos based on the ideas of how we look at things. Okay, I might explain more where we're coming from. Now, a lot of discussions online, not just about this, about lots of other ideas, techniques, principles and so on, often ends up with a backwards and forwards. And what we realised is that we're concentrating on the response, and therefore the context of the attack gets a bit lost, and people often think of different contexts, and that will then change the response, and so people are often debating from different points of view. Also, everything we're doing is often, like, especially if you're doing the Fiore manuals, but if you're doing George Silver, Lichtenauer, it's often a response to something that's going on. So our suggestion to you, and we're going to show a whole series of videos on this, is let's deal with the what's going on first. Let's put a context, because until we've got a context, the response might make more or less sense. So let's do it. Let's look at these things from the attack point of view. We'll define what the attack is roughly, and then we'll look at things that are written down, the various responses to it, and we'll build it up from there. But we'll always relate back to the actual attack that's going on and the types of things that you might face, because that's what they're doing. They're thinking of the type of scenarios that might happen, and they're writing down their ideas of how to deal with it. So let's roll it right back and let's deal with the scenario. So we'll go back to Fiore's first master dagger. I know I've done a lot on this, but because there's a lot about it, you can see how it's built up and how when ideas have come back at us, we're kind of put different ideas out there. And I've always said from the very beginning, there is no one way of doing this. There can't be. There has to be a lot of generalization, a lot of margin of error. We'll come back to that again. I've said it a lot and I'll keep saying it. So I'm going to set up a context that makes most sense to me about what Fiore was probably getting at. I don't for 1 second believe Fiore was saying this is a context and this response, slightly different context, slightly different response. I think what he's doing is a general idea of the type of things that will come at you. And we'll start from first master dagger, first master, first like play. This is your basic response to what's going on. But what's going on? Okay, when you look at a load of drawings with different Fiore manuals, first master dagger, forget me as the defender for now, the attack often looks like this. So, big stance, big attack, coming in here. So, why would that happen? People often train from sort of this distance, and the guy just steps in and we start looking at all the different responses, okay? From our point of view, if I'm this close in, that sort of an attack doesn't make sense. It's now going to be much closer in, much tighter, because we're close in. So, if we're looking at close in work, there's other scenarios that will cover that. This one doesn't. It can't do it. Right, when I say can't do it, we're always talking percentages. So 80 to 90%, it probably isn't looking at that. I'm not saying that can't happen, it's very unlikely. And we're trying to set a context up so we can then build from there. So, okay, close in work, if we're even closer and he's starting to stab and he's doing a little jabby side, even if he's got armour on, he's looking for the various holes, all of a sudden, this isn't going to make it, it's not going to make sense, okay? Not that it's impossible, we're trying to set up something that makes sense. Okay, so that just doesn't quite make sense. So we're a bit further apart, and he still might come in. Okay, now it might, but as he did then, it's quicker and more powerful for him to come in still in this sort of framework. No guarantee, I'm not saying it won't happen, but I'm saying we're trying to make it as really rounded and make sense as possible. We go back to what Fiore shows, it's a big step, it's all this sort of stuff. Okay. So, why would that happen? Okay, it's a big movement. It's a big attack coming in because it's coming in from up there. For him to get in that position, it's going to have to be powerful and fast. I just say going to have to be, doesn't have to be, but let's wait for that. Okay, If I step a bit further back, and now I'm going to force him to cover a good amount of distance before he attacks. So again, I'm doing nothing yet. As this comes in, now the attack makes a bit more sense. And he's coming in hard and fast. He wants to attack me, and he wants to come in hard, fast, heavy. This is not nice. Why would he do that? If I'm ready for it, he still might do it, but even more so. Okay, I can be ready for that. What if I'm dealing with someone else or something else? Shit. If I don't stop, he's going to bulldoze me straight through. That attack now makes sense because he's seen an opportunity and he's going to go for it. But we have to train it. So I'm just saying that's a context where it could make sense. It's not the only context, and the point being this, because it's a basic first play, first master, it has lots of other uses. As I said, we're trying to set a context up where Fiore's instruction makes the most sense, then we can extrapolate out from there. We have to extrapolate out to there because basically with fun, I don't get to dictate what he does. In reality, if he's attacking me, he can attack me anybody way he wants. What we're trying to set up is a scenario that makes sense. So, to finish in this sort of a position, hard, fast, heavy seems to make sense. And hard, fast, heavy from this distance, so that final attack, again, that position makes sense. So as he comes in again, even if I'm ready, I'm watching it come in, I haven't done anything yet, that position makes sense. Work with us on this one. So, again, normal human reaction. Got no training, this thing comes in, what do we want to do? Okay, as I said, he's not stopping. He actually can't because the momentum he's built up. I have dealt with the dagger, I've stopped the attack. I'm right in his way and I haven't stopped him. There's lots of things he can do from there. And again, I want everyone to try this. We're going to show a bit of training with it in the second part of this vid. Try it. Don't just assume. Do it safely, build it up, we'll put a bit of intent, bit of force, bit of pressure in. If you've got nice mats to train on, it might help in case you fall. Okay, we've still not done anything Fiore related yet. We're just trying to set this attack tackle and what I'm going to do against it. Okay, so why wouldn't I do that? It works, but it doesn't stop him coming in and carrying on. So, okay, how can I stop him? Well, I can move out the way. Yeah, okay. And like a lot of Fiore and a lot of other instructors, a lot of martial arts all through the years, Fiore says an increase to the left or step to the left, Silver says step to the left, now it talks about left, right, going to the left. Basically, get off centre. Simple, okay? Let's do that. Comes in. Stop the knife, but it was a bit dangerous, didn't feel comfortable, and he still just carried on attacking. Okay, let's go off centre in that direction then. Try it. I've just walked into it. It makes even less sense. Okay, so going off centre makes a bit more sense, but I've still got the big problem. The big problem is him. I've taken out the knife for a second. I haven't stopped him. Okay, so let's see if I can stop him. Okay, so he comes in again. I'm going to. Okay, we're now fighting. I don't want to fight him. I don't know who he is, I don't know how good he is, I don't know what's going on, I don't want to spend time fighting him when one of his mates comes out and glassing me on top of the head or whatever. So, I might end up there, but again, we're trying to set a scenario up as the best case we can. Don't want to fight him, I want to stop him as quickly as I can. Next problem, I'm going to then, if I do this, if I catch it just right, and I've got a nice, I hate saying it, but skeletal structure, which means that all the pressure's coming straight down here and he can press as hard as he wants, it's not going to move. Okay, lovely, brilliant. Problem is, and Fiore obviously knew this, lots of other people do, if I'm slightly off centre that way, it's now my thumb trying to hold him up, which ain't going to work. Don't do that because you'll break it. If I'm slightly off centre in the other way, As he comes in, it's going to push this down, it's going to cause an awful lot of pressure, it's horrible, I can't hold it. If I try and hold it, my fingers or wrist are going to break. If I don't hold it, if a pain comes in, I've let him in. Basically, catching here, for me, in this context, because the way he's coming in, doesn't make sense. And Fiore doesn't show that for me. Okay, so, we've set the context up. He's coming in big, he's coming in hard, he's coming in fast, he's not stopping. That then puts him in the final part of the attack in that position. Or from that point of view, in that position. That's why that position makes sense. It's a context. What I expect you to do is then draw other contexts up where that might make sense and experiment from there. We're going to start with this one. So we're going to assume he's coming in hard, fast and heavy and he's not stopping. Okay, we'll do that. So we know that's not going to work. I'm definitely going to step off in some way. I'm not going to stand here because lots of things are going to happen. Fiore, so we'll go back to look, okay, what does he write down? Okay, he shows this sort of a reaction in some form, whether it's thumb or finger or hand or whatever. We'll deal with that a bit. Shows this. He shows this. We'll move on to this. What's other areas? You know what's going on with this, but forget that for a second. He shows this. Now, if I stay where I am, this is pretty close, and he's right in the centre, and we're back to fighting each other again. Okay, so let's go back to stepping in. So as he comes in, I see him coming in, stepping off centre. Now, if he's really rushing through, he will rush through. And you can already see what we'll do with that in a sec. He's going to rush through. But we can't assume that's going to happen, but it could do. So just by stepping off centre, I'll stop the attack and I'll probably unbalance him a fair deal. If I mistime my step, it might even work to my advantage. As he comes in, I'll mistime my step, I'll trip him up by accident. I wouldn't recommend doing this because if he's coming in hard and fast, he's going to hit your knee, and it's one of them where I might do it by accident, I might do it by design if I've got a better idea of what's coming at me. I'm just saying it might happen, so even if you're trying this out, if you start picking up speed, be careful, you might accidentally trip someone up without even meaning to. It's happened to us when we've done this at speed, completely accidentally. The person with the knife ended up on the floor because obviously that's not quite quick enough. But anyway, step to the side now makes sense. We're still focusing on the attack. The attack, let's go back to it. The attack is coming in. So we've blocked it and we've even moved off centre. Next thing, this as a block. Okay? It is not passive. It cannot be passive because he's coming in really hard and heavy. I don't want to be passive. I want to cause him pain if I can. Because it comes in, bang, I'm attacking him. Now, what a lot of modern martial arts or other people talk about is hitting with this bone. Now, if I do that, it's not quite the drawing. First thing you have to think about. It's true. So, I'm not saying it is that, I'm just saying if I want to cause pain, I want to hit him with this part of the bone. Now, it's possible that is a lot harder to draw than that. It's also, that is where you want to go to. I am not advocating this as a definite. What I'm saying is that's an option, and within this framework, it still works. So you can hit and hit it, sorry. But as you're going in, you're smashing out. You're not just passively blocking and hoping that you're strong enough to stop it. You're smashing in. Even if you keep it here, I want to smash that away from me, and then we get onto this, which some people like, some people don't. Up to you, don't really care. I'm saying within this context, okay, so, dealt with the knife, I've gone off centre, he's coming at me, bang! Still not stopped him. Now I could try. I could stop that and then go to hit him. But what's happening? Odds are, we end up in a fight again. Whatever. I've already said, don't want to fight him. If it can all help it, if it can be avoided, don't want to fight him. Okay, so, how do we stop him? We've already hit the arm. We're stopping, we're stepping off centre. We've said it's a hard, fast attack coming in. Remember, we're dealing with the attack. The scenario we're dealing with is hard, fast, heavy. I don't know exactly where it's coming from, but I know it's coming from up there because he's already basically jumping at me. Almost. So, comes in again. Off centre. Now, this makes sense. Now, if you want to time it with bang bang, that's fine. For me, it still gives you a little bit of room to work in, but it's fine. But your second hit has to be really fast. So as it comes in, for me, it's this. Okay? Now, why? Because you come in hard, fast and heavy. So we're going to use physics against them. His momentum, his energy, if I stop it sharp and fast, especially if I stop it at the head, it's going to hurt a lot. It's going to shove his head really back. It'll probably hit me a bit as well, because I'm going to have a lot of momentum coming into that. That's fine. I'd rather take that than a stab in the head. So scenario, bang, here. Okay, his momentum is now getting used against him. You've got nose, ideally, but doesn't matter, anywhere on the centre line will do. You can even do it shoulder if you want, if you don't want to cause too much damage. You still, okay, but we're going to deal with this first. As I said on other videos, now you can see the context of why we think you've got to stop him, but it's also, don't care if that fails. I've stopped the knife, I've stopped him. That his body's going that way, his head's now going that way. Because I've stepped offline, I don't need to try and hit anything specific. I just shove my hand out. But I do it in a good structure. Can't do this because it weakens me. That's no good. If you look at how your muscles and your tendons work, this is strong. The further this gets apart, the weaker it becomes. So even if I step this and then bring this back in, I'm still slightly weaker than here. We're dealing with the context, remember, an idea. But I don't care if you want to do block then hit, that's fine, but make sure the hit is really fast. We're going to do block and hit for this. And again, partly because we set the structure up as it's a really hard, heavy, fast attack. I've not got time to be playing about, because he isn't. As I said, I don't want to fight him, I want to take him out and run. I can't run, we've already decided that. For whatever reason, I'm not running. So, go back to the attack again. Shows the attack comes in, I'm blocking it, but I'm stepping off. I'm hitting here, I'm shoving back in some form. Now, if the camera comes round, I'm going to take this out the way for a second, come here, sorry. Without even trying, this is already starting to happen. Because of the way I've come in, and because of the way he's actually attacking, because he's trying to, his momentum is bringing through. As his momentum walks through, as he's taking the step, I just lowered my arm. I haven't even done anything yet. Now this is the disarm that Fiore talks about, which if he's coming hard, fast and heavy, and my response is quick, fast and heavy, as in like really trying to attack him, what we've found is 9 times out of 10, this disarm automatically starts to happen, and all I have to do is finish it. So I don't need to do any big disarm movement, it will start happening. Which again is great because it means I've got less to think about. My response has to be instinctive, fast, trained, and be able to deal with a lot of context in one go. As I said, I don't get to dictate what he's doing. I know he's coming hard and fast, and I can see the attacks coming in from up here, and that's all I've got. Beyond that, no idea. So, again, comes in, bam. As I said, if he even tries to go forward, just turn around, this has already happened. And all I need to do is finish it off. I've already hit him once, well no, I've hit him twice. I've hit him in the head and I've hit him on the arm. I've stopped his momentum. I've created a space for me to work in. Now what we're going to do is keep with this context and using that space we've created, show how the second master dagger is his response, third master, fourth master, how it all builds up and what we think Fiore is trying to tell us and trying to show us. it's also the point that once you've got this context in your head, you can then use these ideas for other contexts, and that's the point I'm trying to make, is work with the attack, set the attack up, figure out what's coming at you, and then figure out why the response makes sense. My response has to make sense to what's happening to me. So we'll just finish off with Fiore gives him a counter. So again, we're going to show it. I'm going to get something wrong. Comes in. I've gone for this. I've done nothing about it. Even if he manages to stop, so it's not coming in quite as hard and heavy as I thought. As I try and do this, the counter is he just winds it round and keeps coming in with the dagger. And I haven't even done this. I doubt he would stop there. He'd probably step at least one more step if he's coming in hard and fast. But if you step one more step, it puts even more pressure here by just stepping. Doesn't even have to move his arm at all. So, Fiore's counter. Get stopped. Why does that counter happen? Fiore's warning us. If I don't stop him, things can happen. And we're still dealing with Dagger. I haven't even dealt with anything else here. All sorts of things happen. But the point being, if I somehow fail, you just stop me there. So that's where Fiore is telling us, if you fail with the first bit, this second bit could happen. And I then deal with a third bit of what I could do. And then if that fails, what could happen? And it's a could happen. It's not will happen. He's just warning you if he wants to keep going with the knife, how we can keep going with the knife. Dagger, we're going to call it. If he doesn't want to keep going with the knife, if I haven't stopped him, if he comes in again and we end up in a fight, goes bang, bang, this headbutt a lot because I haven't stopped him. But why would I do that? I said because he's coming in hard and fast and heavy. That's why that makes sense, and it's hard and it's fast and it's structurally strong and it's aggressive because he's being aggressive. That's the context we're working in. But remember, we're always going to put it back to what attack is coming at us. So what we'll do now is put a bit of padding on. We'll do it at speed with a bit of aggression. We've done this before, we're going to show you it again. But remember, we're going to always frame it within the context of the attack and why what I'm doing makes a bit more sense. And our challenge, I suppose, to you is try it out. Do a video of you trying it out. Send it. If you don't want to post it, just send it to me. If you think I've got a few bits wrong, great, show it. Show it at speed, show it with a bit of impact. Don't go nuts, don't try and kill each other. But just really test it out. And not just the wrong might go the wrong way. If you can think of something else, or a little tweak or something that makes more sense, brilliant. But video it and show me. Well, now we're on to a bit of training. Okay, so again, we're going to show now how to train this, how to experiment with it more importantly. So what we're going to do is mask, body protection on. I'm going to do the move I'm talking about. I'm going to hit here, obviously not here. Okay, now what I'll do first is the full move I'm going to hit, and I'll angle to try and carry on just for a split second, because we're not going to carry on fighting, we're going to stop. But just a split second I want him to try and attack. No, actually what, no, we'll start it from if I don't hit. Okay, so if I don't do the hit, but I stop him and try and do the disarm, let's see what can happen with an aggressive attack. Remember, the context is, the attack is hard, fast, heavy, aggressive. Okay. Just being stabbed there. Okay. Just being stabbed there. And again. I've got into a fight and I'm still getting stabbed. So, he's now going to try and do the same, and all that's going to change is I'm now going to hit the arm and the body. Okay? Okay? And again. And what is it? I swear to God, I want you to try this out. Don't just take my word for it. He is trying to keep coming. He's doing the same thing he was without the hit, but we've now got the hit. And again. Okay, now this failed for me, but it's still giving the space I needed. Could you have done something for that split second? No. Again, want to try it out, don't take our word for it, but for that split second, I had control of this. I control that sort of, what happened was, I got that in, but he ended up that starts to go round. But because he got disrupted, it stopped about there. So I could grab. And remember that would be here. We're still, if I so wish. One more. And this time, slightly long, but I've still got to keep this on. So this is what I mean by, and again, this is still quite pedestrian. I'm not going full tilt, I'm not aggressively smashing. He's not totally aggressively smashing, but he's coming in with intent and he's keeping coming. I want you to feel, and more importantly, ask the person, the attacker, and we're talking about the attacker, what it feels to them when I hit the arm, or when you hit the arm, or when you hit them here. Remember, nice, lots of padding. Try it outward slowly first, so you can set it up nice and slow, so you can come in slowly, and we can set it up just to make sure what distance is right. I mean, if it was there, it'd be fine, if it's not there. And then you start to build up the speed. If you're able to, remember, take care of your health and your strength and so on. But also the point of being is, I talk about relative strength and how strength is important. Now, my training partner here, Ango, does a very physical job. He's got everyday, what you call active strength. Strong Bloke does a very physical job. Mine's semi-physical, but I do a lot of strength training. I do strongman training. So I've got strength, he's got strength, different types of strength. And this works, and he's done it to me, and it works against me. But that is always a factor. So if someone starts to say about someone weak, tall, whatever, yeah, that's a fact that's going to come into it. But this takes some of that factor away, because it's using, again, to get a bit esoteric about it, it's using their energy against them. We're not talking anything in the ether, just talking physics. One last, just to show you. There, boom. Try it out, but that's the point being, I know we've shown this before, but I want to show it in the context of it's about the attacker and what they're doing. Now we'll build this up and we'll show how this, first we'll go through what Fiore says, and then we'll take it out and widen it even further. Hopefully that's good for you. Sorry for waffling on. See you soon.